even though I have it broken down differently in Malama Aloha Pono in segment 3, it says it in one sentence on page 67, where had I been selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and frightened. I use it for my daily, so I switch it to where am I being? It's about segment 2, listening. That's what makes it in art.
Welcome to Aloha Speaks, home of Malama Aloha Pono with Alexander Noman.
Aloha, Alex here. And the inspiration for today's topic, the art of extrapolating, is basically the anniversary, my 13th anniversary. Let me see, it would be 2 days ago. I use AA, so my sobriety date was 12/12/12, December 12th, 2012. And that's for I can't say everything because the cigarettes didn't go until April 30th, 2019. I've been celibate 6 months longer than that. So 13 and a half years. As far as, when it comes to relationship addiction, because there is that codependency, it takes ongoing work. The original topic was going to be the danger of self-importance, because the topic on my day of the anniversary was self-centeredness I'm talking about not on video, with my sponsor. The beautiful thing was making the decision to spend it with my sponsor, 3 hours. In a sense, it was grueling because it was all about doing the work. It was beautiful because getting honest, getting real, busting through that denial, it's peeling the onion layers. But the reason the quotes are around the word art is because extrapolating is and it's about one sentence in, we call it the big book, the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, even though I have it broken down differently in Malama Aloha Pono in segment 3, it says it in one sentence on page 67 in the big book. And the way it says it is, where had I been? And the reason it says where had I been is because it's referring to the 4th step, going back in what they call inventory, looking back at the resentments prior. I use the same format for my what's called 10th step, my current issues. So let's say what it says now, the way it's stated, where had I been selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and frightened, period. That's the sentence. And what happened was, earlier, there were quite a few people, maybe 15 people, talking about this, and in discussing the extrapolation, there were people yawning and looking over this way and that way, and so it would seem that this is about in Malama Aloha Pono is called self-assessment. In AA, it's called inventory. In Byron Katie, it's called Byron Katie's work. It's called the work, or it's called the turnaround. It doesn't matter what it's called. It's maybe different questions, but here, the way it's asked with "where had I been," I use it for my daily, so I switch it to "where am I being?" And what I noticed, where am I being selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, it's that pride, and frightened. Where is that fear driving things? This is not normal. People don't go around doing this kind of thing. It's normally resisted. That's why yawning, looking the other way. So it's really not about segment 3 or the inventory. It's about segment 2, listening. That's what makes it an art. Because there are a lot of these people because it's, what the heck does that have to do with sobriety? That even if it did, it would be indirectly related. And for me, I'm talking to my sponsor clearly, and I'm like, I'm 13 year, and he just had his 35th year anniversary. I was talking to another guy a week ago, 40 years. We're very close. Amazing. 40. And we were talking about the same thing, that ownership, that honesty, getting real. So, what is the connection between these kinds of questions, personal questions about myself, and addiction? Any addiction, not just alcoholism, any addiction. It's a direct relationship, which apparently only the people in the program working on themselves can relate to, especially someone who's been doing it over and over and over again. So it's a matter of that listening. But even the listening is an art, because it's about learning from the listening, except it's not learning intellectually. It's deeper. It's learning experientially. It's learning in a deeper level with that intuition. It's learning at the heart level. It's not the mind. It's the mind that resists. It's the mind that wants to change the truth into something else, that wants to manipulate. The truth is simple. It's clear. It's not manipulatable. And that requires a learning on a completely different level than between the ears. That kind of listening is what comes from asking those questions of myself, extrapolated. Where am I being selfish? And then taking that where am I being and putting it in front of dishonest. Where am I being dishonest? Where am I being self-seeking, the pride? Where am I being frightened? Slow it down here and extrapolate. Because that line, where, even if it's switched to where am I being selfish, dishonest, self-seeking, and frightened? Not even answerable. Not honestly and not thoroughly. So that fifth question, that's a few lines down, can be honestly answered and clearly answered. Where am I to blame? Changes everything. Removing the other, whether it's an institution, usually it's a person, removing from the equation. It could be someone who even harmed me, and I have been harmed. Not giving them a pass, not saying, oh, what they did to me was okay, because it wasn't okay. Simply breaking that chain of power that it has over me, because I'm the one suffering. Relieving myself of the suffering it has been, that control it has been having over me, that it will have no more. When it gets removed and I say, where am I to blame for the suffering, for the misery I am the one hanging on to, because the deed has been done. It's over. Letting go. Not easy, but it's time. Time to be free. Only a beginning. Beginning is good. Until next time, aloha.